Yes, guys. Ryjack back here for another Man City video. Today we are looking at the business that's wrapping up for this first initial transfer window that City have concluded with today. 3 signings, while Tijani Reinders is not yet announced. It will be announced very shortly. All the paperwork and everything is done. Just waiting on an official announcement. But no worries, deal's not collapsing, nothing like that. Before we start, anybody who is new to the channel, I would appreciate a like, comment, sub, anything like that. We're on the road to 200 subs, very close to getting there, and I very much appreciate it, as always. So, let's take a look. Let's go over to my Twitter, and I've got some bookmark things here. Of course, we got the Here We Go for Ryan Cherki yesterday from Fabrizio Romano, and we saw the announcements go through. Ryan Cherki in the beautiful black kit is officially a Man City player and will participate in the Club World Cup. There's some news about that Fabrizio put out about how it was a tense negotiation club to club. However, Cherki was pushing like crazy, something we definitely like to see. Something that he wants City. He didn't want anyone else. He talked to Pep. He didn't want to wait. He was buzzing. Very cool things. There were other clubs interested. Lists here, other clubs in Germany, other Premier League clubs. However, he was won over by Pep. Very nice things to read. Sometimes you see things like Florian Wirtz, for example, and I don't like to be the guy that's going to continually compare the two, but seemingly he was not won over by Pep, and that's why he didn't want to join City. And that's fine. It happens. Some players are like that, but Cherki was all in on City. He was all in on Pep. So that's really cool. I like to see that. We've got the figures of 40.5 million euros plus 2 million in bonuses. Again, very, I don't want to say cheap because I think cheap has a negative connotation to it, but a very Man City friendly deal when you think about the type of player that Cherki is and what type of players City are getting when, the alternative option was Florian Wirtz, who today gets a here we go to Liverpool for 150 million euros. Obviously, that's 110 million extra on top of Ryan Cherki. Are they that difference? Maybe Wirtz is better overall, but 110 million euros better? I'm going to go with probably not. But a lot of things at play. There's some other bits of news as well, but we have already talked about on this channel. This is kind of the main discussion point I'd like to look at. Tijani Reinders is through the door. Like I said, he's not been announced officially yet, but they're spacing out the announcements. They don't want to take away Cherki's, time to shine in the spotlight. They'll probably announce Reinders tomorrow, and we'll get all the photos and all the interviews and all of the media stuff done. It's nothing to worry about. I don't think anyone is sitting here thinking Reinders is not joining. But we do purchase these 3 players for less than 110 million pounds. And I think it's shrewd, it's impressive from Hugo Viana for sure. The alternate option, like I said, is Florian Wirtz, who ends up going for 150 million euros. That's, 130 million pounds, we'll say. So give or take, it's basically the same price. We're getting 3 players for Florian Wirtz's 1 player. City probably need more than just Florian Wirtz as the KDB replacement. They need players who can fill the gaps in the holes we have. We have an aging midfield. KDB's leaving, but besides KDB leaving, we don't have a left back. We want Josko to play center back. So, whether or not you believe City did pull out of the deal or Wirtz rejected them, I personally believe Wirtz rejected them, and they would have done the big money had he wanted to come. But it ends up, even if it's a plan B, it's still a good outcome for City. We get some good players, 110 million pounds, and we will hopefully get some more transfers in once it opens back up in about a week or so. Like I said, there were some other rumblings here. We got some more Wesley news as well to speak about. City resumed talks with Flamengo over right back Wesley. Flamengo expects a 45 million euro offer. Now, that is a lot of money for me. Livramento is getting a lot of buzz as well. That one's looking like 80 million. And to me, that's just too much money. It's too expensive. I wouldn't go that high if City do. I mean, they do. I don't really care what we spend on players. It's not my money. It's not your money. It's the Sheikh's money. So if we do it, we do it. But if I'm arguing on a value basis like we are with the 3 signings we just got, Livramento for $80 million doesn't really work in that way for me. So I'm looking towards more of a Wesley. Again, 45 still seems like a lot. He would also be non-homegrown, which is a bit of an issue. We wanted Livramento for the homegrown rule. Wesley would not be homegrown. Maybe you go with a younger right back. There's the Portuguese right back from, I believe, Porto, 19 years old. However, that's a big money transfer as well. It just wouldn't count against a non-homegrown. I haven't seen any solid links, but I've seen people in chats and on Twitter discussing him as an option. This one comes out yesterday. Man City are interested in goalkeeper from Lille, Lucas Chevalier. I know a lot of people are in my DMs telling me we want Chevalier. They comment on my videos about Chevalier a lot, so that's pretty cool. Nice to see. However, the transfer fee for 70 million euros, that is extremely high. There's rumors of Diogo Costa going only for 50. So, I mean, 70 million on a goalie, I feel like that's too expensive. Maybe Lucas Chevalier is the one we get and is the one we go for, but I would be astounded if the fee was that significant and that high. I just don't think that is reasonable. There's also the option that none of the goalies leave. Right here. There's a Pep quote that came out about a week ago where he said he expects all the keepers to stay. That's not necessarily the case. I think it was a bit of mistranslation, and he hopes the keepers stay. Ederson and Ortega now have just 1 year left on their contracts, as well as the third goalkeeper who's replacing Scott Carson that we signed today, Bettinelli from Chelsea, 1 year contract. So there's just no way, in my opinion, we go into the season with Ederson and Ortega both going into the final year of their deal and not doing something there. There's got to be some sort of extension or sale. You can't leave yourself that short, in my opinion. The momentum is slowly building for Ederson to stay. I think that is a possibility. I don't know. I'm sure he still wants the Saudi move. Obviously, you see this here. Ederson is open to a move to the Saudi Pro League. And I think if a team comes in for him, that's what will happen. He'll go to the Saudi League. But you never know. Maybe the Saudi League is not interested in a goalie. That's not really a marquee player, So could happen where Ederson ends up staying as a sort of, we don't have anywhere else to sell you to. And I don't think he wants to go to a European club. So, I mean, for me, I think the chances grow by the day that we don't see these links to any player, to any club, for Ederson. I think I'm leaning towards him staying. I don't know that happens, but I'm leaning towards that. Now, there's also some news about Jack Grealish that we need to discuss. He's emerged as a target for Bayer Leverkusen, according to some reports. That report was, again, shut down, but that's not the case. Napoli, I've seen, are interested. Spurs, Everton are interested. Newcastle, I've seen, are interested. And City want to get at least 50 million euros for Jack Grealish. I would be very surprised if we got that much for Jack Grealish in the summer. I'm thinking a loan is what ends up happening, unfortunately. As much as I would prefer a permanent sale, the wages are just too high for him to move down to a club like Everton or, I don't know. I don't want to say like Newcastle won't pay the wages, but they probably won't pay the wages, even though they have unlimited funds. So I don't know. It seems unlikely for me. Newcastle, again, like I said, they don't want to make a formal approach. They just want to make sure they know what's going on, and they would consider a move if it was probably a loan, according to that report right there. So I don't know. I think it'll end up being a loan, maybe back to Villa. Not great. In all honesty, with the Jack Grealish news, and it's actually the only real out news that I've seen. There's not much on Bernardo Silva, Ilkay Gundogan, KDB. Obviously, we already know is going to Napoli, but any other player, we haven't seen much other than Grealish. Maybe that's accelerating a bit because we know he's not going to the Club World Cup, which starts in about a week or so. City's first game was, I think, the 18th, so 8 days away from now. Very excited about the Club World Cup. I know a lot of people are not, but I don't think we should get bogged down in do we need this tournament or not. It's Man City. They're playing games. I'm always going to be excited to watch them play. So Before we end the video here, I did pull up a little lineup. I put a lineup together of what I'm expecting for the Club World Cup for City. This is my initial lineup that I've built. This is what I think we will see. Notably, I have omitted Phil Foden. I think maybe he gets a bit of a break this summer and does not feature very much. Hopefully that's what he needs and is back ready to go, refreshed, ready for a new season starting in August for him. But in goal, I'm going with Ederson, going with Mateus Nunes. At right back, no other real option for me. He's been a solid right back. I think he can hold that down for the summer. Ruben Diaz and Gavardiol, that pair, I think is what we'll see in the World Cup. Be very exciting to see. New signing, Ryan Aït-Nouri out at left back. Hopefully he plays a lot and can impress with this summer tournament. Rodri back into the 6 role. Tijani Reinders, another new signing, coming into the 8, probably replacing Kovacic, Gundogan, those type of players. And then in the 10, the attacking midfield position, Ryan Cherki. Hopefully that's where we see him. I don't want to see him out wide. I'd like to see him in the middle. Again, with Pep, you never know. He may be out wide just to get his feet wet a bit under this Pep type system. And then the front line, we're going with Omar Marmoush out on the left, Oscar Bob out on the right, and Erling Haaland through the middle. This team is definitely good enough to win the Club World Cup. Ideally, we go far, win the competition, take the prize money, and continue to rebuild the team in Pep's image and field a team that is able to compete for the Champions League, Premier League for the next 5-10 years or so. Player to watch out for, Oscar Bob. I'm calling it now. He is going to have a coming out party at this Club World Cup. He will be one of our best players. I'm very excited by Oscar Bob and hoping for a very, very big summer and launching pad into next season. That's what I'm hoping for. The sooner we get to the Club World Cup, of course, the sooner I'll get some more streams out about previews for the specific games and you know the exact going-ons of what those games are going to be like. Obviously, going to be in the United States where I live. Game in Orlando against Juventus, the 3rd game of the group. I'm planning on attending. I have to buy tickets still, but planning on going and doing a little vlog, a little game vlog, my first one of those. So that'll be very exciting. Anyway, this is my team. I'm going with City, dominating the summer, winning the Club World Cup, hopefully. We'll see how it goes. But anyway, thank you guys for watching. I do appreciate it. Leave a like, comment. Let me know what you guys think of the signings, the transfer business so far, and who else do you want City to go for. Let me know. Have a good one.